I have 1000 hours in War Thunder on my Steam counter, but let's rewind to the moment I first discovered this game. It was 2016, something like that, I don't really remember. Probably some ad popped up and convinced me to try it. A game where you can fight on land, in the air and at sea. Over the next few years I would launch it from time to time to play casually in arcade mode, staying on low battle ratings. And everything changed when a year or two ago I finally gave realistic mode a shot. And that was the moment the snail took my soul. Unlike arcade mode, which offers all sorts of passes, realistic rarely helps you with anything. Vehicles are slower, the gameplay is more methodical, and yet this mode is way more engaging. Maybe it's just who I am. I've always preferred more hardcore games like Escape from Tarkov, and this mode was the vehicle-based equivalent of that experience. Getting a kill in War Thunder is somehow 10 times more satisfying than in other games, and it's probably because of the unique difficulty of the realistic mode. I think it's because this game has a huge number of vehicles and you really have to fight each one differently. Each has its own weak spots and you need to learn not only how to play with a specific vehicle, but also how to play against specific ones. In my opinion, the fact that we are constantly learning how to destroy different vehicles gives the game a unique feel and makes every kill more satisfying compared to other games where you just get kills and the learning curve is much lower. This one stands out. This game can also drive you absolutely insane. You aim at the weakest spot of the tank, shoot 3 times and still can't penetrate. Meanwhile, the enemy wipes out your entire crew because their shell ricocheted off the roof straight into your ammo rack. Another example, you start doing well, head toward the capture the point after destroying an enemy tank, and suddenly a bomb drops right on your head. You're about to shoot someone and your teammate drives in front of your barrel at the exact moment you pull the trigger, and if you are flying in realistic air battles and deal critical damage to the enemy, suddenly 5 teammates appear behind him and steal your kill, instead of focusing on other target. In the text chat everyone seems massively frustrated. There is no voice chat in the game, but I think that if it's ever added, we'll end up with a mix of 2 voice chats, a Call of Duty lobby and a CSGO match. Personally, I think voice chat would be a great addition as long as you could instantly disable it with a single bind. How to play this game without feeling the same frustration as most of the community? In my opinion, you can't focus solely on grinding. Sure, choosing a vehicle line to grind and aiming to unlock it is a good idea, but if you only focus on grinding, you quickly burn out. Personally, I tried out 3 nations and leveled them more or less equally up to the just before top tier. I set clear goals when it came to unlocking specific vehicles and checked them off as I went. But that wasn't my main reason for playing, I just wanted to enjoy the vehicles I currently had access to. Speaking of frustration, is it worth buying premium in this game? In my opinion it depends. If you play casually like once a week, then probably not, but if you enjoy playing regularly in the evenings after school or work, then why not? It lets you unlock your dream vehicles much faster, and if you compare the cost of a 1-year premium account to the price of a AAA game, and then consider how many hours of gameplay War Thunder gives you compared to the typical AAA game, I would even say that premium ends up being cheaper. When it comes to multiplayer games, I honestly don't see anything out there that comes close to War Thunder. Sure, someone might immediately jump and say there are tons of games with better mechanics, or other games are way more realistic. And yeah, that might be true in specific areas, but here is the thing. There is no other online game right now that brings together so many different types of vehicles and lets you experience such diverse combat scenarios all at once. You've got TCES, which is amazing but strictly about aircraft, then there is World of Tanks, but that's just ground vehicles, and with health bars no less. Some games like Battlefield or Arma have tried mixing things up, but they are still mostly infantry focused. When it comes to realism, I know some people will say, you really think War Thunder is realistic? And look, if you compare it to DCS or other hardcore simulators, yeah, it's obviously less realistic, but I think the devs at Gaijin were never aiming for full-on realism. They went for something I would call playable realism, a sweet spot where the game feels believable and immersive. But you are not spending months studying manuals just to fly a plane or drive a tank. What we get is a game that's realistic enough to be satisfying, but still fun and accessible. It's not like arcade-style World of Tanks, where a heavy tank has a life bar like you are playing Mortal Kombat. In War Thunder, well-placed shot matters. A shell to the ammo rack means game over. Now, don't get me wrong. The game has its issues, the grind can be painfully slow, matchmaking isn't always fair, and sometimes balanced decisions leave you scratching your head. But despite all that, it's still one of the most rewarding and unique games out there. To me, War Thunder is the perfect mix, the golden middle around pure sim and casual fun. You get depth, you get adrenaline, and you get moments that no other multiplayer game can really deliver. Maybe Escape from Tarkov, but it is not vehicle-based game. So after spending over 1000 hours in War Thunder, were those hours wasted? Would I trade them for time spent playing some other games? Nope, not at all. I've played a ton of online games in my life, and honestly none of them gave me the kind of satisfaction I get from getting a kill or unlocking a new vehicle in War Thunder. Sure, it's kinda a game that makes people rage, and probably costs more than a few broken keyboards. But I think that's more about people's mindset than the game itself. If you only focus on grinding and don't enjoy the vehicles you already have, it's going to be hard to enjoy the game. Some players are constantly chasing that dream vehicle. The juicy A10 or the mighty Abrams, maybe something different on top tiers, I don't know. And every match that doesn't bring them closer to that goal just adds to the frustration. Right now I've got 3 nations grinded up to around battle rating 8-0, 9-0. I'm not at top tier yet, so I can't really give a full review of what it's like up there, but I'm getting there, and I will definitely share my thoughts on high tier gameplay in a future video. So thanks for watching, and remember to